On this episode of The Money Factor, I have with me all the way from the West Coast, Patrick Zazuetta from Huntington Coast Capital, and we're going to be talking about purchase order finance and equipment funding on The Money Factor. So welcome to The Money Factor. I'm your host, Ian Varley with Eagle Business Credit, and I'm pleased to have with me Patrick Zazuetta from Huntington Coast Capital. Patrick, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the program. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. I know getting on Skype's always a challenge, but it's great to see you. It's been a long time since we last spoke.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a while and always good to reconnect.
I'm a distribution company, and I love how factoring smooths out my cash flow, but I need more funding. What are my options?
So distribution company, yeah. I mean, factoring is a great solution. Anybody that has receivables and is giving terms to other businesses is going to have their cash flow tied up pretty much. And if you've used all of that and you need more, if you're a distributor and you're buying finished goods, then a good option could be purchase order funding. It operates independently to your factoring facility, and we find it's a great solution because if you get a large order, it can really give you that extra jolt of cash that you need in order to buy those goods in and turn it into receivables. Patrick, you've come across a few of those in your time as well. I know we've looked at one recently that was importing some goods from China. Looked like a good solution for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the finance requests that we come across include purchase order financing, because oftentimes the small business owner or even medium-sized business owner, as the case may be, will be running along fine with cash flow, be able to fund their operations through normal business cycles. And then they finally get that big order. Let's say they're chasing a customer for years and they finally get the doors open to them, whether it be a Target or a Nordstrom, and they're ordering at a big level. Then purchase order financing really fits in well there because it's an additional amount of funding that they need access to in order to fill that order. Because if they don't fill that order, then that opportunity will just go to the next supplier and they've lost that whole relationship. So purchase order funding becomes critical to the working capital business cycle. Lots of companies depend on it. That's where I find Eagle Business Credit really brings a lot of value, because a lot of these companies that are in the space of purchase order financing have certain minimums. They want you to borrow a minimum of $500,000 or $1 million or more on the purchase order facility, where Eagle can step in, and in many cases, even if it's your first purchase order, they can step in and finance that order for you. And really, as long as there's a path to growth and they're funding the growth of the company, they're willing to work with you, which is kind of unique in the industry, because a lot of companies, as I mentioned, are just interested in the more, established companies, the companies that have already made it, have already proven themselves, and not so much the startups or early revenue companies, we can also call them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We are happy doing those smaller transactions. Again, if it makes sense for the business, then we're happy to entertain it. We don't need that minimum that some of these larger companies do. I love working with you guys as well, because you come across these deals and you know that we're happy doing it. So again, we work well together on that front. We appreciate the business that you send us. And yeah, smaller deals, for us, it doesn't matter. If we're helping the company, it's going to turn into a bigger deal. That's what it's about. So again, if they're using factoring already, that's fantastic. Even if they're not, then we'll look at a purchase order finance solution for them as well. So again, a great question.
Hey Ian, is it possible to refinance all of my equipment?
Equipment finance, yeah, that can be a challenge. We don't do it directly at Eagle, and again, we partner up with people like Patrick to find a home for them. Patrick, tell us a little bit about the new thing that you're launching, the new website that you're launching, and the equipment funders that you're going to be partnering up with. It's important to me. We've got to have those solutions readily available for people when they come to us.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Equipment financing next to purchase order financing is a really big demand, really big requirement for many business owners out there. And we started Huntington Coast Capital 10 years ago, and really over the last 2.5 years, we've seen an increase in equipment financing requests. So much so that we're starting another company called equipmentfinancequotes.com, whereby we'll be bringing the business owner and or their advisors and consultants together with lenders in the space. So essentially, it's an online portal. It's very, 2018, some people call it fintech for financial technology, but essentially it's an online application that as the borrower enters their requirements, some questions about the company size, the equipment they're looking for, et cetera, it narrows down through the algorithm the lenders on the back end that fit that request. So they're able to quickly and easily access which lender would be right for them in their request.
I love it. It's genius on your part. And, it is providing a really great solution for business owners that, like you said, they don't know where to go. They don't want to walk into a bank because they're worried about being turned down, or they know they'll be turned down. So this is actually a really good solution. And for them to be able to get 2 or 3 different quotes from different people just by going online and putting in some information, that's a huge resource. And I know we'll be sending stuff your way because it'll help a lot of the inquiries that we receive, and certainly some clients as well.
Yes, absolutely. I believe that we can work really well together in that space, kind of covering all of the needs that business owners have on a day-to-day basis with regard to their cash flow.
And that's the biggest need that we come across. They need a solution. They've got to find those people, and you're providing it. So kudos to you.
I've taken out 3 ACH loans, and I'm struggling to make the repayments. Can you recommend a solution?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. We are finding a lot of people are going online these days. Many online lenders providing quick and easy solution for their businesses. And in most cases, it's working well. But in some cases, like this guy, you can get behind. You take out one loan, you're making the repayments, but now you need more money. So you're going back to the well, getting another loan. We actually saw a deal recently that had 5 of these, and they had fallen behind. They were in a default rate, unfortunately, and things were getting pretty nasty. A lot of these online lenders, or all of them in fact, will take the money directly from your bank account. And if you miss a beat on that payment, you can get yourself into some real hot water real fast. And if you can, obviously refinance it. That's one solution. But again, there's other solutions out there that we can help you with. And oftentimes, factoring may be a great solution, but it may be a combination of things. Patrick, what are you seeing in this area?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, these MCA loans, or merchant cash advance loans, as they're known, are kind of restrictive. I mean, they're kind of the lender of last resort. They do take the money, like you said, Ian, directly from your bank account. They don't have a lot of requirements, is what's attractive to a lot of people, but they're very expensive, and it's very difficult to get them refinanced out once they're involved in your business. Especially if your sales have a hiccup in their cycle and you have a down month or something, things could get really nasty, as you mentioned. So what we typically try to do, sometimes people come to us with a factoring or a purchase order funding need, and they have these loans in place. What we typically do is like to term them out. In other words, find a term loan that has a monthly payment, more like a mortgage or a car payment, with a reasonable interest rate that is manageable and doesn't strap the company. Additionally, a lot of these term loan lenders can be subordinate to the factoring company. So the factoring company and purchase order company will handle the short-term working capital needs of the business, covering the cost of goods on the purchase order side and covering the other working capital needs on the accounts receivable advance. And then the term loan company will handle that long-term debt, because you really don't want to have long-term debt covering short-term needs. That's kind of finance 101. So they work really well together, and we solve a lot of people's cash problems that come to us with that scenario. It's quite common, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's a great creative solution, and it really solves the problem. You can keep having top-up loans, but they become a band-aid. They don't actually solve the problem. And obviously, as you know, with factoring, like you said, it's a revolving line of credit on your receivables. You don't have a repayment to make. The funds are repaid through the payments from your customers. So it's not like a deadline or an amount that you've got to pay this Friday and you're sweating about how you're going to meet that obligation. It's a line of credit. And like you said, if you can provide a solution on more traditional terms, a monthly payment, to get rid of those weekly or sometimes daily ACH MCA loans at a lower rate as well, then I think that's a great solution. Well, we've had some great questions today. Patrick, thank you so much. Appreciate you being online with us. It's great to see your face via Skype. I'll have to come out and see you one of these days.
Yes. Thanks, Ian. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. It was good to be here.
And if you have any questions for us, please go online. You can Twitter at EagleBizCredit, hashtag The Money Factor.